Okay, remember, we are looking for our future, and by the end of the program, I'm going to show you the things that are coming and the signs that I am still looking for, and I'll give those to you here, but I warn you, we're running out of things to look for. We're seeing the rise of hatred, and the Muslim Brotherhood is a great example of it. They want to wipe Israel and Jews off the map, exterminate all the Jews. They've grabbed power and credibility with our own White House. The Golden Dawn Party is blaming immigrants and openly advocating to put them in ovens now. And austerity is the gateway in the West for that. All signs of trouble will start to appear when you see the word austerity. I think I wanted to tell you that last week, and I don't think I did. And I said, I was going to say to you, look for the word austerity, and when you start to see that appear, you'll know that we are now entering the zone that Europe is in. Well, here we are, going down the same road as Greece and the rest of Europe. We have begun calling a budget that increases, actually doubles the spending from 2002. Remember, when that was in 2002, we were gearing up the Homeland Security, and we were at war and everything else. That spending of 2002, it doubles it, and then adds 3.4%. That's Paul Ryan's new budget. And here's the Huffington Post today. Austerity now. Labeling it crazy. Austerity. Who uses the word austerity, really? Do you know anybody in their life? Austerity? Meanwhile, we have crushing debt. We have massive unemployment that's only getting worse, lack of media truth, and the devaluing of life through unhinged progressive science. We are excusing anti-Semitism as the administration props up the Muslim Brotherhood, but it's more and much deeper than that. First, we excused anti-Semitism with Occupy Wall Street, but then listen to what I think is the most disturbing question I have heard from any reporter. This question from Erin somebody or other. I've watched her a few times. I've never found her offensive or crazy or radical. Listen to this amazing question today on CNN.
An Egyptian woman, her name's Samira Ibrahim, and she's done a lot of things, courageous things. She's also been criticized for sending tweets that are anti-Semitic, anti-American. Does the U.S. need to accept that when we want to make change, you have to support people that do those things financially, in terms of awards, in terms of all these things, because it pays off in the end? Is that a trade-off we have to make?
No, I don't think so, not necessarily.
Hang on just a second. Erin is asking, should we violent anti-Semitism, violent anti-Americanism, coming from Samir Ibrahim. She is the anti-Semitic Egyptian woman who celebrated the attacks on Israeli citizens as sweet, sweet news. She said the day of the Benghazi attacks that America should burn every year. Erin is asking the question if we should accept that in the name of progress. What would supporting this woman achieve? I mean, I hate to bring it up, but let's go back again and look at history. You prop someone up who hates Jews and America, and you make them a model citizen. It's a little mind-boggling. The consequences are usually pretty steep, especially if you help them retain power. Now, we have singled out specific races and groups of people as a so-called problem. Conservatives, whites, rich people, you name it, that's the problem. Jews. Apparently, the media is okay with this. And they're also okay with strongmen. I mean, it's not just about the president. What's his face in New York? Bloomberg used to be a Republican. He's an independent. No. Gingrich also is a Republican. He wants to regulate. In fact, he wants to be the teacher of the rules of civilization. These guys are not Republicans or Democrats or anything else. They're progressives. That's what a progressive does. Obama is constantly trying to work around the system through executive orders and regulations. We have a press that doesn't see it, or at least doesn't care. The bad effects of a strongman. Bloomberg is testing citizens with soda. Does anyone really think he's going to stop there? Does anyone really think that Cass Sunstein will stop, with ideas after cash for clunkers? Does anyone think that they will stop with the assault weapons? Jan Schakowsky just said handguns are on the table. She knows they're a problem, but we can't win that yet. Do you really think they will stop at sugary soda? It's not the soda or the soda size. It's the sugar. Look what was said on MSNBC this morning. I want to quote this from their morning show. Industry groups like theater owners serve popcorn that is so full of salt that it will kill you, and these big drinks that sit for 2 hours and you drink and become sick. How about this? The American Beverage Association is now the new evil one. The American Beverage Association is relieved because they can continue to make money poisoning people. At some point, they will clamp down on the beverage industry, just like the cigarette industry, and they will wear a black hat. How about this? Legal action will continue until they're brought down, until they stop putting sugar, salt, and terrible fats into our food and making them addictive. Oh, be mad that you can buy this stuff again and again. These companies feel like they have to produce poison for you and your children. Quote, "It's killing us, and it is killing our children. It's liquid sugar, and sugar is poison." He says, Bloomberg says he wants to stop obesity. Well, the big sugary drinks are not going to do that. We're now finding out from MSNBC that sugar is the problem because it's poison. Did you know that? Well, then why would they stop at the sodas? Answer, they won't. Now that the election is over, we know the death panels will happen. We know they will blame the economic pain on the Tea Party and people like Rand Paul, or I love this one, white privileged conservatives that forced the president to make painful cuts. And if you don't believe me that white privileged conservatives are the problem, look what is happening this week in our publicly funded schools. This week in Wisconsin, the schools had white students wear a white wristband as a reminder about your privilege and as a personal commitment to explain why you wear the wristband. Oh. So all you have to do is just wear something that singles you out in a group. Well, that's no big deal. Now, who designed this activity? Lo and behold, AmeriCorps. Gee, I think we saw that one coming. In Portland, students are being taught about white privilege as well. They say in Portland that eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches is a form of racism. Conservatives are vilified. They have been blamed. The Progressive Southern Poverty Law Center just named Texas the state with the second highest amount of hate groups. Oh, Texas is going to come under attack. The reason progressives will never tell you where our destination is because they know that to get to their collective utopia, there is massive suffering, and at the easy part, there's no sugar. There's no whatever it is they deem to be the problem. It's an inconvenient fact, but one you should be ready for, especially with the bogus propped-up economy that is going to come crashing down. And I will begin to show you why next. You know, we weren't always this skeptical. We used to trust the news. But polls show now that people trust labor unions more than the news media. Wow, do you deserve a reliable news and information network. One that won't waste your time or mislead. The Blaze is that network. Complete coverage, exclusive bonus content, whenever and wherever you want to watch it. Go to theblaze.com/TV for a free 14-day trial of The Blaze Plus. It's the best way to experience all that is The Blaze. I want to show you what we've talked about before called the Kondraciev wave. This is an economic cycle. The press has celebrated the Dow's recent record high. MSNBC was all a tingle over the 7.7% unemployment rate. Watch.
When is President Obama going to get some credit? And this is like Rodney Dangerfield. When's he going to get some credit for this amazing economy that's coming back? It definitely is coming back. Maybe not like gangbusters, but that unemployment rate really dropped again today. And there really are 250,000 new jobs out there. It really is amazing. And the stock market for the rich is going through the roof. Okay. When's this guy going to get some respect?
All right. Well, I'll give it to him right now. 236 people found jobs. Unfortunately, 296,000 people gave up looking for a job. The unemployment rate continues to fall only because the labor force is shrinking. If you want to leap up and give Obama credit for that, go right ahead. The point is, despite all of the smoke and mirrors, we are not bearing witness to an economic revival. What we're seeing is completely bogus. It's a house of cards propped up by the Fed and free money. The Obama administration has set another record. And this one is important. The number of people on food stamps just went up and broke another record this month again. The question you have to ask yourself and ask your friends is, if this is a recovery, why aren't there fewer people receiving food stamps? How can that number be going up if things are hunky-dory? And to show you how much trouble we're in, the best chance we have of balancing the budget from the Republicans, the only job they can do is to get the job done within 10 years. That's not going to happen. That's the new budget from Paul Ryan. His budget actually increases spending every year by 3.4%. And he's being labeled an austerity freak. No one in the Republican or Democratic Party are willing to let the natural cycle of the economy take place, and that's the problem. This is the natural economic system, and this is what it looks like. There is the peak, then recession, then growth, then recovery, then peak and recession. That's the way it is. It's cyclical. It's where the term green shoots comes from this part of it. Now here's what's happened. What people used to do before the Fed was called prepare. They would prepare for these time periods, but people wouldn't or couldn't prepare, and so they would say, well, I got a problem, I'm hungry. But people understood that there were going to be peaks and valleys, and instead of teaching people how to cope with these peaks and valleys, politicians decided the best thing they could do to be heroes is to eliminate those. And they've taken this, and what they really want is something that goes like this, which is really not even possible. Produce only peaks and make sure nobody ever really feels pain because it's always up, 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 up. But it doesn't work. And here's why. Because it doesn't really give time to reset. When an economy is sick in a valley, it has to get rid of the things that has made it sick, the virus, in order to get healthy again. You need to flush the bad money out of the system, the risky investments, the bad investments. Some people are going to crash. Instead of doing that and allowing a small amount of pain, politicians want to avoid the pain because they want to get reelected. And so they use the Fed to keep propping up the bad money, our virus, instead of letting it work itself out of the system. A bank that should fail, we prop up. If you repeat this enough times, we become over-indebted, an overcapacity economy that can't generate any real expansion because there's nothing real up here. And then we only create speculative bubbles, and those inevitably burst. And that leads us to the terminal phase of the global capitalism. And that's not according to me, that's according to